really wanted to not only enjoy the wine, but like we said, like what lifestyle came with essentially enjoying, drinking wine, whether it was by yourself, whether you were going to, traditional winery, or getting together with friends and community and family. And so that was really important to us. So it really marries, if you will, enjoying wine, the quality and the taste, and then also the lifestyle that comes with it, and what does that mean, and are you traveling to try different wines, bringing wine to social gatherings, and really embodying the sense of community, which is how we started,
Welcome to the Italian Wine Podcast. I'm Cynthia Chaplin, and this is Voices. Every Wednesday, I will be sharing conversations with international wine industry professionals, discussing issues in diversity, equity, and inclusion through their personal experiences working in the field of wine. If you enjoy the show, please subscribe and rate our show wherever you get your pods. Hello, and welcome to Voices. This is Cynthia Chaplin, and this is going to be the most fun day. I'm really excited to welcome the amazing team from Mela Vino to Voices today. Erica and Chelsea, Ryan and Kendall met as freshmen at the University of Southern California in 2007, and they decided to create their own wine in Napa in 2020. So, which was a very interesting choice in 2020. So we'll get to that. But I want to thank you guys for coming on. I know you're all in 4 different locations, and it's a big time difference between all of us. So I'm thrilled to meet you all, even electronically, and have this chance to talk to you. Thank you all for your time.
Thank you
for having us.
Yeah.
Well, you have been such close friends for almost 20 years. Your story is really interesting. Your website gives a really warm background. So tell us how your freshman year friendship at the University of Southern California grew into your wine company. I'm still really good friends with my best friend from my freshman year, but we did not start a wine company. So tell us what happened.
Yes. So we all met in 2007. That's correct. When we all went away to college at USC. Some of us met at orientation, but really when we all got together, that was, well, we always debate whether it was the first day of school or second day of school. I think it was the first day of school. And so we went to lunch that day. We even have a picture from that lunch. And pretty much every single day after that, for the next 4 years, we found time to meet up and have lunch or do something, no matter what our school schedules were. So we were pretty much inseparable through college. Yeah. And then after college, we all went our separate ways, but we remained close, and we've been a part of, every major event in each other's lives, from more, grad school graduations, weddings, kids, everything in between, good and bad. And then during COVID, we tried to find a way to stay close, even though we couldn't visit each other as often. So we did start a book club, and we were doing a book club over Zoom during COVID when everyone was quarantined.
God, when we had to do everything over Zoom.
Yes. So it was definitely an adjustment. Um, so we started the book club, and we also, of course, shared a passion for wine. So we would often be tasting and drinking wines during these evening book club meetings. And then, one night we all tasted one that we didn't really like that much. We won't say what it was.
Thanks.
But from that moment, we all kind of got the idea that maybe we should make our own. And even though we have no background in this, we all just did some research and we just dove in, and here we are now.
It's just so out there. I do not have the right friends, obviously. My friends don't say, let's make our own wine. So I love that you guys are, just so confident in your friendship and in your skill sets that it was like, okay, we're going to make our own wine. This is great. I love the backstory. So I also really love the name that you chose, Mela Vino. You've said that Mela refers to the melanin and honors the various shades of brown that you all share. And Mela has a lot of other meanings. In Sanskrit, it means to gather. And in Hebrew, it means to be full. In Italy, Mela is an apple. And the apple symbolizes many things across many, many diverse cultures. So beauty and love and wisdom and knowledge and understanding. So let's talk about how you arrived at this name. I think it's really perfect for what you're doing. What does it mean to you in your daily business? How does that concept of Mela affect what you're doing with the business?
Yeah, thank you. We love the name as well. We're really proud of it. You see, if you could see us, Chelsea has her Mela sweatshirt on right now, proudly.
Oh yes,
Um,
awesome.
but we knew coming into this industry that there's not a lot of women that look like us in the field. And so we really wanted to go into it with pride and really think of a name that celebrates and honors who we are and our culture. And so the word melanin came to mind, but we didn't think that would look great on the bottle. But
Probably
thought about,
not. No.
right, not as catchy. But then landed with Mela, that kind of an abbreviation of that, if you will. And once we had that name, loved the sound, loved what it means behind it, we decided we should probably look and see what else Mela might mean in other cultures or languages. And then when we found that in Sanskrit it means together, we were like, oh, that's perfect. It almost seems like it was meant to be, because that's really what we hope to be true when people are enjoying our wine, is that it brings people together to connect, to just celebrate life. And so that felt really powerful. Then in Hebrew, to be full, we want them to be full of life, full of good wine when they enjoy Mela. And then you added the piece with the apple and thinking about how the beauty and knowledge and wisdom, like all of that, we hope that those things are true when people are come to some of our Mela moments that we call our small gatherings that we will post. So really, it's just a celebration of both who we are and what we hope folks feel when they are enjoying our wine, either by themselves or with groups and friends.
Well, it really spoke to me when I first found you guys. The name and sort of the concept behind it. You're on your website. I steal everything off of people's websites because I don't want to put my stamp on what you're doing. You say that it's a wine for the modern social drinker, which I think is a fantastic concept. We know that consumer behavior is really changing a lot recently. I think talking about a modern social drinker rather than who's young, who's old school, who's new school. I like the concept of just being a modern social drinker. So, what's the philosophy behind this? Because the sharing and the gathering and the filling each other up is ideal. But tell us the philosophy, and then I want to know what wines you're making and how they fit your image of a modern social drinker.
So we were new to wine, but really enjoying it. I say we're still young, whereas wine and wine tasting traditionally a little bit more mature, right? And understanding and learning about wine. So when we were starting the company, we tried countless wines. I mean, I think we lost track of actually how many wines we were tasting, and we really wanted to not only enjoy the wine, but like we said, like what lifestyle came with essentially enjoying, drinking wine, whether it was by yourself, whether you were going to, traditional winery, or getting together with friends and community and family. And so that was really important to us. So it really marries, if you will, enjoying wine, the quality and the taste, and then also um, the lifestyle that comes with it, and what does that mean? And are you traveling to try different wines? Bringing wine to social gatherings and really embodying the sense of community, which is how we started, Mela in the first place. So really taking what the stigma, if you will, of the wine industry, or that the wine industry has had, and breaking that down to where it can be enjoyed by so many different people from different cultures and backgrounds, and really bringing people together.
This means
Yeah.
everything to me. I'm a wine educator. I've been in the wine industry a long time. Wine can be so snooty and so
Mhm.
pretentious, and something that was created to bring people together ends up being something that keeps people
Exactly.
out, and I really
Yep.
hate that. So I love that philosophy that you have with it. So what wines did you choose after you tasted your 3,000
3,000 is,
wines?
is quite sounds about accurate. So we would try at least, oh gosh, between 4 to 8, I think, every week, um, for almost a year. And so 3,000 is about right. So we started the first year, we started with two wines. So we had what we called our California Red and a California White. Both are blends. And following that, so the California red is a blend of Petit Syrah, Zinfandel, Malbec, and Syrah. And then our California white, which is very or not very common to have a white blend, but we found that we loved it, and actually our consumers love it as well. Gewürztraminer, mhm. Pinot Grigios, Gewürztraminer, yeah. Pinot Grigio, Sauv Blanc, Viognier, and a blend with Riesling as well. And so we really enjoyed those two. And then we also knew the next year that we wanted to expand a little bit and really include some summertime wine and spring. So we added a rosé, and then we also added a limited edition, another red.
That's amazing. I'm really happy about the rosé. I just finished writing a book about Italian rosé, so I'm a big fan of finding rosés. But I love the fact that both of your sort of flagship wines are blends, and neither one of them have the like classic California. There's no Cabernet Sauvignon and there's no Chardonnay. So this is really, as you said, a very modern profile. You know, people are walking away from this heavier, higher alcohol, spent more time in oak barrels kind of wines. So I love it's risky to blend. It's super risky to blend. So I love the fact that you embraced what can happen with a blend like that and didn't just go with the obvious California choices. These are really much more about you and not where the wines are. So um, it's there's a whole lot on your website that I'm really excited about. And another description on there says that this is a private label wine and a lifestyle brand, and you're centered on elevating your community's social experience, which I'm also very serious about. I love this concept, and I like the way you phrased the mission. It's not keeping anybody out. It's everybody can come in. This is a community. Tell us a bit about your goals now for Mela and the connection you want to make with your consumers, because I imagine you're making some good connections at the moment.
Yeah, thank you. So, first of all, I want to share that our mission is to pair life's most memorable moments with tastefully crafted wine blends and to inspire the pursuit of passions while challenging the status quo. So first of all, just thinking about our mission, you kind of spoke to it in the beginning. Like a lot of times, especially during COVID, you realized what was your passion versus what you were required to do every day, from an educational standpoint or from work standpoint. And so when we decided to do Mellow, we wanted to make sure that we were encouraging other people, especially in our generation and all generations really, to kind of make sure that you don't just talk about it, but be about it. And that's kind of what one part of our mission that we really like to hone in on is that if you have a passion, it's never too late to get started and honestly just get started. And so that was just kind of important to us from a mission standpoint. But like you said, elevating our community experience is just exactly what Erica kind of already talked about. Like the wine experience is something that doesn't always feel welcoming, but we wanted to ensure that whatever part we could play in having those kind of connections for us, we felt like when we were in college, we had a unique friendship. So, like I believe Chelsea said at the beginning, if one person knew one of us, they knew all of us because we really valued what our friendship meant to us. And so we wanted that kind of same connection to be felt in our wines, with whether you're hanging out with one friend, 10 friends, by yourself, or whatever. We wanted that same idea of connection to be felt in our wine and our label. The private label part is not as exciting as it sounds. We simply are a private label brand because we don't own our own winery. So that's not as exciting as it sounds, but I mean, it was our way of making our passion come to fruition.
Well, I love that. I love, you guys are a blend of people in this friendship group that's so unique. And so you're blending grapes for your wines. It all fits together really seamlessly, what you're doing. I'm yeah, no, thank you guys. It's really fascinating. Yeah.
And then to piggyback off Eric,
sorry, to piggyback off Erica a little bit, the blend part was really important to us because we all have very unique personalities, which I'm sure we'll dive into a little bit. Um, so, with that being in mind, ideally from a financial standpoint, and even from wines that we liked, it would have been better for us to do a single blend. But with having all of our different personalities and being able to come in there and everybody gets a pace of getting to say what they like, what they don't like, experimenting and making the blend, that's sort of why blends are so important to us in all facets, because it was allowed all of us to have our personalities shine in one way or the other in all of our wines.
Yeah, I think that's amazing. And it's, just talking to the four of you and seeing you all on the video is great because you get a feeling of a really cohesive group of four very different parts. And I think that's a very unique story, and you're telling it perfectly. So um, you are totally right. I'm going to pick on each one of you. So I really want to get to know each one of you a little better. And I know that Mela is not the only job you all have. You're all doing other stuff, which is also really fascinating because, as you said, you're young, you've got partners, some of you've got kids, you've got other jobs. Like there's a lot going on here. So, and you're doing it well. So let's start with Kindle. You're the communications and the PR director for Mela, but in your other life, you're a school leader at an elementary school. So that is a big job. I was a chairman of the board for a school when my kids were there. So how are you blending your two career paths with your school life and with your wine life?
Yeah, it definitely is two very different ends of the spectrum, but I will say the wine helps after a long day of working at a
Absolute
school.
truth. Absolute truth.
but, but yeah, I think the biggest thing, what I appreciate is that because it is so different, I get to use my brain in different ways. And so to be able to tap into still the skill set of being able to communicate things clearly to folks, but to talk about something that's kind of exciting and different and unique and um, wanting to share something that I had a hand in creating is really exciting. And it's just less stressful, or it's a different kind of stress, I would say. When I'm working with families and students, there's this population I serve is pretty high need. And so it can take a toll. But I think being able to work with my friends and talk about wine and think about the creative side of my brain has been really exciting and has brought a healthy balance. So yes, the days are long, but it feels like I'm able to do things in a way that bring joy and use my brain in two different ways.
That's really nice. And, and of course, you're working with families and young children in one part, and then, adults in another part, but in creative ways. I really like that. And I can see the balance. I have 6 children. So you definitely need wine.
Yes.
Your brain goes to mush if you don't have something sort of intellectual to do. So
Exactly.
I appreciate that. So thank you
Thank
for that.
you. Yeah.
Okay, Chelsea, you're next. All right, you're the operations director at Mela, so your alter ego is as a physical therapist at an outpatient facility. So again, totally different. Although I can see wine playing a part in some therapy. Um, how are how are you balancing those two very very different responsibilities?
Yes, they are very different. So during my day job, yeah, it's very hands-on, doing my physical therapy. As for Mela with the productions position, it's some of it's administrative stuff, and so a lot of it's also just learning a lot about wine. And so I've enjoyed that. Like I said, none of us had a background in this. Um, I've always loved school and learning. My friends were always making fun of me that I would just stay in school forever if someone would pay for me. So I've enjoyed, yeah. So I've really enjoyed learning a lot more about everything that we need to do. Um, from the time we started until now, it's the whole thing's just been a huge learning process. And so it is very different, but again, I'm always happy to learn and happy to progress as we
Oh, me too. I'm a nerd.
as we grow. And I'm fortunate enough in my schedule that I can work like 4 10-hour days. That way I have Monday to free up more time for Mela. And just doing things throughout the day. The four of us are chatting throughout the day, sending emails, sometimes having a Zoom at lunchtime. And as far as the actual production of the wine, I'm in Southern California. So it is just a quick flight up north. Um, so when we need to go and check in things up there, it's not, too far for me. Um, but yeah, it's definitely busy balancing both things, but I think, like we said, this is our passion. So, and then if you also add that we're with each other, with our friends, so it doesn't always feel like work when we're doing Mela things.
Yeah, you guys must live in a parallel universe to me because my day does not have this many hours in it. I don't know where you're finding these extra hours that you're doing all this stuff. But all right, Ryan, you're next on the hit list now. So you're the financial and the legal director at Mela, but you have a very full work schedule as a criminal defense attorney and the founder of the Casey Fund that focuses on stopping the school to prison pipeline, which is super important these days, particularly. Um, what's a week like in your life? Because you must be one of the ones who really needs 10 extra hours in the week that don't exist. So how are you balancing Mela with your legal career?
I think it's just about, I told them recently I have a calendar where I write everything out that needs to be completed in the day and you prioritize it. So I think it's just about staying super organized. I think that's the name of the game. We do a good job meeting and kind of talking about what needs to happen throughout the week. So we're not as panicked at the end. Of course, things happen, last minute, but the name of the game for me is just trying to stay organized. I think that's as simple as it can be.
Yeah, well, you and clearly you've got an organizational brain as well, trying to balance both of those things. That's a lot of paperwork. I have friends who are attorneys, and that's a lot of paper. That would just overwhelm me. Too much paper. But it's so interesting. Each one of you, your talents are so different. I mean, last but not least, Erica, you're the marketing and the creative director at Mela, and when you're not designing and producing luxury events all over the world, which I've done events myself, so I know like how much time that takes up. So how do you make time for Mela and the rest of your work? I imagine you're traveling and you must be very detail oriented. Events takes that.
Events does definitely take that. I would say mine does tend to, or both roles tend to lend um, together very well and similar when it comes to the designing aspect. So really paying attention to colors and textures and photo shoots and fonts, as it relates to the brand and the aesthetic of the brand and the look. That is very similar with the work that I do on the day to day from a large scale. And that makes it fun. I think that's what I love to do. And so getting to do that at my full-time other role company is fantastic. And so being able to do it for Mela, which is something that I still enjoy, it kind of just, like anything, yeah, it's extra time and, definitely sacrifice from that end, but I enjoy it and it's great.
I'm so glad for all of you. I fear the day when one of you decides they don't want to be part of Mela anymore because this is clearly a really cohesive group of friends. I don't want to hear what happens when somebody says I'm done with this. But um, before we go any further, let me just get some hard data out of all of you. You started in 2020. How many bottles did you produce on the first go?
Well, we started with 2020. We started with 2 barrels, 1 barrel of the white and 1 barrel of the red. Yeah.
Yeah, so we started very small. It
Yeah.
was around like 600 at first, 600 bottles.
That's
Yeah.
the best way to
Hmm.
go. So what are you up to now? We're in 2025. We don't know what this vintage will look like, but how was 2024 for you?
So we doubled the following year, and then now we have something new in the works that we have not bottled yet. So that one's
Ooh,
coming soon.
okay,
Yeah.
excitement. Good. So, and where do your consumers come from? Are they mostly e-commerce? You said you're doing, get-togethers with people. I'm sure you're going crazy on social media at this point. So, where are your consumers coming from?
Okay. Primarily, yes, e-commerce with direct to consumer. That's been our primary form of getting connected to folks. We also have been fortunate to partner with some um, wine bars and wine shops. And one thing to kind of just speak again to how important staying connected to the culture is, we've made a point to reach out to different wine bar owners that are female owned and or POC owned. And so we've worked with shops in Oakland as well as LA. And then our goal is to eventually be able to sell in person. And so working to do that on our own. But really fortunate for the connections we've made with other bars. And then, of course, again, the online sales.
And then our happy medium, sorry, our happy medium, kind of piggyback off Kendall, is that we do in-person events. While we can't sell in person, we find that these type of events, similar to what we're doing right now, where we're able to talk, let people try the wine and understand our story, ask questions and everything, is where we thrive the most. So that's one way that we're able to not only touch our usual like market base, but we're able to get a little bit further expanded by having those type of events.
Yeah, those type of events go a long way. We should have turned this into a tasting. I didn't think about this enough.
Right, seriously.
But it's true, they do go a long way to, to making people feel welcome and making people want to get involved with what you're doing. So I love how you are sort of building it, not trying to jump in and get massive really fast, but carefully curating who your customers are and what wines you're making. So I'm excited to hear about this rosé. But you've all forged this amazing bond. It's evident just in half an hour of chatting with you, and you've created this incredible community. You all say that the other things you do in your spare time are families and community, and those are your top priorities. So before we end this conversation, which I really don't want to end, I just want to sort of walk down the potholed road of DEI in the USA. As I said, I'm American. I don't live there anymore, for which I'm very grateful at the moment. But it's no secret that the current administration is actively trying to dismantle DEI programs that we fought for decades across the country. So, what are you seeing inside the wine industry? How do you think companies like Mela can address these threats to DEI? What do you think the wine industry should do to push back? Because I think we really are in a moment where we need allyship. People need to be told what to do, how to help, how to address this in a way that is more positive than negative, but is really going to be a pushback that will be effective. So tell me what you guys are seeing. Tell me what you think.
That's a great question. I mean, yeah, historically, we know that the wine industry is very white and male dominated. It's well under 1% of wineries owned by black wineries. So it's already been hard to break into the industry. However, when we started in 2020, there was definitely more of an emphasis on bigger companies supporting black owned brands and minority owned brands that has definitely shifted with this current administration. So I think what we can do is, we have to just continue to tell our story and do the best that we can to also support other brands and try to collaborate, with different events. And like Kendall already mentioned, when we're looking for places to sell our wine, really be mindful of where those places are and who we're supporting. Um, yeah, do you ladies have anything to add?
I think that part of it is that um, trying to, I don't know, like, I mean, so you're obviously seeing this on the outside, even though, you are American, but it is a mess over here. Let's just be honest. And so that's what it is, especially, yeah, especially from a DEI standpoint. So you have organizations like Target who had made this big point to make sure that they were reaching out to, people of color and their brands and making sure their brands are in there. And then that's just not happening. So, I mean, from an ally standpoint, you're trying to get organizations, big organizations like that, to go back to their roots and what they were doing before, to not be so influenced by this current administration, which is just a huge, much a bigger, issue that I don't even know that we would even have that kind of impact on, at all. Um, and,
Yeah, I agree. I agree. It's like it's a
right,
10-headed snake. Every time you chop off a
exactly.
head, three more heads come back. So I I like that you're focused on you're being you and you're focused on your company and what you can do. For me, it's really depressing. I'm a lot older than you are. Watching 30 years of DEI get dismantled in front of my eyes is terrifying. But I like the fact that you have a positive approach, and I think that idea of collaborating, growing the community, growing the network, making as many sort of connections and collaborations as possible is probably the best way to keep everything rolling forward instead of just being consumed. So I'm happy that you're adding wines too. That's always a forward step, adding to what you're offering people, bringing more people in who will try new things. So what's ahead for 2026? What do you?
Yeah, well, Chelsea kind of gave a little hint that we're trying to brew up something new for the fans, and so we're really excited.
You can tell I'm trying to find out what that is.
We're not gonna spill the beans quite yet, but we're really proud and also just really excited of how much we've grown and learned, and so feeling more confident in the decisions we're making, the steps we're taking, and so I think that a huge appreciation to those who have helped us along the way to kind of navigate and learn the industry. And mind you, there's still a lot more for us to continue learning, and we definitely go into this with humility and proud of the women and winemakers that we are, because it's a lot different this year than when we started in 2020. So proud of that.
For sure. Well, I've been in the wine industry for 25 years, and you can never know everything. That's one of the most fun parts about it. There's always something new to learn, somebody new to meet, somebody doing something interesting. So I never get bored. And it looks like you guys have that same energy, that you aren't going to get bored. And between the four of you, there's some serious brain power, as well as four very big hearts that are going to keep this project moving. I'm so glad that I got to meet you and talk to you. Thank you so much.
We really appreciate it.
Thank you. We were curious to know how you found us, though.
How did I find you? That's a good question. I will have to go back to my notes. I think it was it Forbes? It was an article. Let me hang on a second. I'll just check while I'm at it. I think it was in an article that I found a mention of Mela Vino, and I was like, I have to check this out, because it sounded so unlikely to have four friends who've been friends for all this long time, making wine together, not in the same place, doing different jobs. I was like, this can't be going well, but it is going incredibly well. So, I'm really happy to see that you've got each other, which is great. I think at the essence of everything you do is the friendship that you have, and you're great role models for that. Collaborating together, staying friends, and creating something new out of a friendship that you've had for a long time. I think it's really inspiring, and I hope that everybody who listens goes on your website, because it's a great website, and taste your wines. I'm going to have to. I don't think I can get them in Italy.
Figure it out. Yeah,
we'll figure it out.
I'm coming to Italy. I'm coming to Italy in September. Where do you live?
Oh, fantastic! Amazing. I live in Verona. So I, right near Valpolicella, and I am always happy to welcome everybody, my podcast guests, my colleagues, my friends. Come and drink some Valpolicella with me. I'd be very happy to see you. And if you need anything while you're here, send me a message, and I'll do what I can.
Thank you.
And if you don't mind, can we take a quick picture?
All right. Of course.
Okay,
take a long picture.
1, 2, 3. Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Great. You're welcome. Well, our social media team will do something with this. I don't know. They work magic. I do the interview, and then they sort it all out. So they will send you everything when it's ready to go out, so you'll know where to find it, and you can repost it or we'll tag you, of course. Thank you so much. Thank all of you so much for your time today, and being so open to all my questions. I appreciate it. I really do.
Thank you for doing this. Yeah.
All right.
Perfect.
Well, take care, guys. Have a great day, and you'll hear from us really soon. And when you're here, Chelsea, let me know.
Take care.
Yes,
all right.
Bye.
Take care. Bye.
Absolutely.
Bye.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you for listening, and remember to tune in next Wednesday when I'll be chatting with another fascinating guest. Italian Wine Podcast is among the leading wine podcasts in the world and the only one with a daily show. Tune in every day and discover all our different shows. You can find us at ItalianWinePodcast.com, SoundCloud, Spotify, Himalaya, or wherever you get your pods.